Hey, Undisputed listeners. Before we start the show, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app right now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. Download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com now. Let's start the show. Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it. Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Guys, good morning. It was a huge weekend highlighted by Tom Brady pulling out a win last night to reach yet another conference championship. Oh, and don't worry, we will talk all about that in a couple minutes. But first, I'd like your thoughts on what today means as we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. Guys?
Wow. Skip, it seems like this is I think it's our fifth time doing something like this, talking about Dr. King and what today means to us. And every time I do this, I come up with something different than what he means to me. Skip, here's a man that's only the Bible is quoted more than Dr. King. Is a man that gave voice to the voiceless. He gave sight to the person that couldn't be seen. And he felt that in order for America to live out its true meaning, those in position to help should help those in position that can't help themselves. And those that can do more and can do better for those that are not in position to do for themselves, they should. Skip, this man and his voice and the pitch, the cadence in which he spoke with resonated with so many people. And today we celebrate cherish the life of Dr. King, one of America's greatest ambassadors, one of his greatest goodwill for justice. And he said that, Skip, in order for us to be the true definition of a utopian society, we have to live together as one. One should not be treated different because of his color. One should not be treated different because of his tax bracket. And Dr. King, I know Bernice a little bit, Dexter, Martin III. We celebrate your father. We appreciate what he did for America. And today is all about him.
I echo every word you just spoke. I'll just speak for me personally. April 4th, 1968 has always been a day for me that lived in infamy for this country. Room 306, the Lorraine Hotel Motel, Memphis, Tennessee, an assassin's bullet took the life of one of the greatest leaders. Some might make the case he was the greatest leader this country has ever known. The greatest orator, the greatest motivator. I only wish that we could have Dr. King here today.
To see today, but to help lead and heal and reunite a country that has had a tumultuous and often horrifying last 4 years that are almost, thankfully, about to be over, we hope. Yes.
We have come a long way since 1968. But we still have so far to go.
I really would like to know. I agree with you, Skip. I wish he was alive because I would like to hear what he honestly thinks. From 68 to 78 to 88 to 98 to here we are 21. How far have we come, Dr. King? How far have we really come? And what was in your dream? Do you believe that dream has come to fruition?
Well, he had just spoken the night before about how he had been to the mountaintop.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm not sure we're there yet. But anyway, here we go.
Wow.
Here we go.
Guys, I appreciate both of your words, and we will, at Undisputed, do our best to honor MLK all day throughout the show, and really, we should every single day. But guys, I want to get to the games we saw over the weekend. We had so much action, but we do begin by talking about Tom Brady because he is on his way to another conference championship game. The Buccaneers were able to avenge their 2 regular season losses against the Saints with a 30-20 win last night. 3 Drew Brees interceptions and a Jared Cook fumble kept giving the Bucs favorable field position all night. Brady finished with 199 yards through the air and 3 total touchdowns in the win. Shannon, what is the biggest reason the Bucs pulled off the upset here?
Their defense was sensational. If you look at the first two games, Skip, I think the first game they had 2 turnovers. The Bucs did. The game that they got blown out on a Sunday night, Skip, they had 3 turnovers. And the difference was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took care of the football and the New Orleans Saints did not. But the Bucs defense was sensational. Skip, when the game seemingly could have got out of hand because the first punt return, the guy runs it back that holds them to a field goal. They get another punt return for a touchdown, but it gets a block in the back. But when they got down in the red zone, Tampa's defense seemed to clamp down. The one thing...
And by the way, they only gave up 1 big touchdown, right, which was a trick play touchdown.
A trick play.
Ahead. Yeah.
Skip, the one thing I can say about Tom Brady, that he probably does better than any quarterback that's ever played. Skip, he understands the situation. He says this game is not about 300, 400 yards passing. This game is who can avoid the turnover, who can avoid the costly mistake. And he played it as such. Skip, if you look at this, Mike Evans had 1 catch. AB had 1 catch. Gronk had 1 catch. Leonard Fournette led the team with 5 catches. So instead of putting the ball down the field and putting it in harm's way, let me take these checkdowns. Let me take these easy because turnovers will make you pay double. Skip, he started at the 41-yard line. That's the 3rd best starting field position of his playoff career. The 3 touchdowns he got, he went 40 yards, and 20 yards. Skip, it's going to be hard to beat that team. It's going to be hard to beat any team if you turn it over 4 times in the playoffs and you give them that kind of starting position. Devin White was sensational. I'm not surprised that he played as well as he did because he went home. He's a Louisiana kid, Skip. He played at Baton Rouge at LSU.
So did Leonard Fournette. And he was inspired.
He ran hard.
Yep.
But Devin White was sensational.
He was.
11 tackles, 10 solo, tackle for a loss, fumble recovery, a pick.
We've talked about him all year. He's a superstar.
He's sudden.
Yep.
And you look at a man his size, Skip, you don't expect him to be that sudden, but he is sudden. He's impactful. Skip, look, it's kind of like a situation, Skip, you know you should get you a new car. You know it. And you say, I'm going to drive this one till the wheels fall off. And you just hope you don't have someplace important that you got to be when you use this car one last time.
Yep.
Well, Drew, the wheels fell off. And it fell off at the most inopportune of times. Skip, it kind of reminds you of Peyton Manning. He kind of ran out of gas, but the difference was while Peyton was turning the ball in the Super Bowl, so was Cam. But Cam's touchdowns were leading to points. The Broncos' defense was sensational. They didn't give up the points. And so when you look at it, it's like it was painful, Skip. I'm watching Drew throwing the ball, and I would have to go back and look at the tape, but looking at it from the TV copy, it looked like they played Drew exclusively what we call cover 5, which is 22-man, Skip. 2 deep safeties, hard underneath. We're going to take away the middle of the field. We're going to force you to throw the ball outside the numbers. And you see, they didn't give up anything down the numbers, and when Drew tried to throw the ball outside, what happened, Skip? All of his interceptions came when he tried to throw the ball outside. Because
except for the one to Camaro, which was up the seam, but it was just late.
Right.
I don't know, they were on the wrong page. Go ahead.
But even if Camaro was looking, that was going to get, he was going to get blown up or he was going to get picked.
Yeah.
So when you look at it like that, it's like, we do not believe Drew can threaten us, can hurt us throwing the ball outside the numbers. We want to push him outside the numbers. But the play of the game, Skip, the Saints are up 7. They got the ball, they're driving. Jared Cook, he did it again. Skip.
It's 3rd and 2, and they converted the 3rd. He's running.
Just like they.
Yep.
Skip, this is what I don't understand. And I went back and I looked at it, and I'm saying, why is a guy that's 6'6", 260 pounds, can run like he can? Why has he been on 5 teams? Skip, it's his football.
Remember, he caught the Aaron Rodgers pass against Dak and Zeke in their rookie year at Jerry World in the playoff game.
It dawned on me, Skip. I'm not saying he's not intelligent because I believe he is intelligent, but it's football IQ.
Yeah.
Skip, you beat the guy the guy that you beat is on your right. If you watch him running, Skip, he's looking to his left. There's not where the danger is coming from. It's coming from your backside. Skip, you could see this coming. I saw this guy say he about to punch this ball out, and dude don't even know he's there. How he doesn't know he's there after he just beat said guy, and he's on his right, but he's looking left. Boom. Give Tampa.
That little man is a rookie out of Minnesota that they stole in the second round. And what I love the most about him is that his daddy played at the highest level in this league, and it's like father, like son. And that was the play of the game. That saved the game. Of the 4 Drew Brees turnovers, that wasn't on Drew Brees. That was a Jared Cook turnover.
Because it looked like, Skip, they were up 7 at that point. It looks like they're about to go at bare minimum get 3 and be up 10.
But if they went up 27-13, I'm just not sure Tom Brady could come back.
But give Tom Brady credit for realizing and understanding this is not a 400-yard day. This is not even a 300-yard day. This is a protect the football day and let our defense see. Don't put our defense in harm's way. Let me do what I need to do, and let's get out of here with a victory. He did what he needed to do, but the Bucs defense, that might have been their best game of the year, and they needed it at that time.
Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. There is one man in sports I do not bet against when the money is pushed to the middle of the table, and it's Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. He was up against his greatest challenge yesterday. That's his nemesis. That's his worst nightmare. That's his matchup nightmare, because those guys can get after him and after all of his receivers. And I thought the Saints defense played extremely well yesterday.
They didn't pressure him like they did the first 2 games.
They didn't get after him. And your man Trey Hendrickson played, but he was not the same.
Nope.
And yet Tom Brady's offensive line rose and shone in ways that it didn't in the first 2 games against a team that had owned Tom Brady and company, owned them at New Orleans on opening day, and then November the 8th at what I call Tampa Bay. It was the all-time beatdown. It was Tom Brady's worst game, I thought, by far, of his career. He had a QBR of 6 in that game at home. They got dominated so bad that the time of possession was Drew Brees 40 minutes to Tom Brady 20 minutes. And he threw a frustrated late interception in which I thought he just sort of gave up and threw it up for grabs back across the field to Rob Gronkowski, and it got picked off by Malcolm Jenkins, who also played very well yesterday. Very well. He was all over the field.
Yes.
So Tom Brady went into New Orleans for a second time this year, and a third time against that team that owned him, and against a Drew Brees who has owned him. Drew was 5-2 against Tom Brady career. And what you saw on display was something that I hope the kids out there can comprehend and savor and embrace. Kids, you're going to get to tell your grandkids you got to see that guy play at the highest level at 43 years of age. So it's going to cross generations of, like when you're growing up, I'm growing up, who did I get to see the end of? I got to see Mickey Mantle maybe at the end.
Right.
I got to see a little bit of Johnny Unitas at the end of him.
Right.
But they weren't quite the same.
Right.
That Willie Mays was on the downside. I had to watch him play for the New York Mets.
Right.
And then if I can go fast forward, I had to watch Peyton Manning play for your Broncos in a Super Bowl in which he was just hanging on for dear life along for the ride.
He was on fumes.
On fumes. And what you saw yesterday was the culmination of the GOAT getting pushed out the back door in New England and saying, okay, I choose, and we're all thinking, Chargers maybe? Where else? Anywhere but there? Wait. He just chose Tampa Bay, the Succaneers, the worst franchise and winning percentage in all of sports? You're kidding. Oh, well, but they do have 2 Pro Bowl receivers from last year.
And Brayton, O.J. Howard.
And they do. And they have Todd Bowles, and they have a lot of pieces on defense, even though they went 7-9 last year with Jameis as the quarterback.
But Skip, when we stepped back and we looked at it, of all the places that he could have potentially went, That was the best situation. Nobody has that collection of skilled players. Maybe Kansas City, but Kansas City wasn't available.
I still thought the Chargers were intriguing. Just new stadium, stadium, and all that. The point is, it took him 1 year only, but he had to do it on the fly during a pandemic with no preseason, virtual OTAs, and he molded that team into the Patriot way on the fly. He taught that team how to win the biggest games. And they all, right on schedule, clicked, gelled, came together, and took off in the month of December. As Tom Landry always taught me when I was first in this business, you have to streak into the playoffs. If you're going to go places, you got to catch fire in December. They did, right on schedule. And you can't tell me that every player on that team doesn't look up to Brady. As Bruce Arians said last week, I tell these guys something and they don't even listen to me. Brady says the same thing to them. They're like, oh, okay, I got it. So he has become the co-head coach. And to your point, the defense has been hit and miss all year. I wasn't sure I could trust it. It's gotten torched too many times. But right on schedule in the biggest game against the biggest challenge, Drew Brees that had owned that defense twice this year, they rose and shone. They played easily their best defensive game of the year. This side of one we're going to talk about in a few minutes on this show against Aaron Rodgers at home back in October. But that was the epitome of Tom Brady instilling and installing the Patriot way in Tampa Bay. And you're right. He played careful football, no turnovers. They protected him the way they haven't protected him remotely against New Orleans, only one early sack. And they ran the ball the way they haven't in tandem all year, because look what happened. Fournette gets 63, but Ronald Jones got 62. That will work. It's like, it's not thunder and lightning, it's thunder and thunder.
Because what happened in the game too, Skip, he had 5 carries. They had 5 rush attempts, which the fewest in NFL history, I guess, since the merger. So when you look at it, now we're running the ball. You just can't pin your ears back, because I might hand this ball off to Fournette. I might hand it off to Rojo. So you got to sit in there, and just that sitting there, just that 10th of a second, because, Skip, that's why you see so many guys jump offside. They're trying to time that cadence. And give the Bucs credit, give Byron Leftwich, he called an unbelievable game. Because, and Tom, Skip, like I said, young quarterbacks don't understand. This is what Tom understands, and I think this happens because Coach Belichick instilled in him, son, if we don't turn it over, we're good enough defensively to win this ball game. And he never forgot that. So a lot of young guys, instead of not, Skip, they try to win the game. Tom said, I'm perfectly fine throwing for under 200 yards and not turning this ball over. I'm going to make you beat me. I'm not going to help you beat me.
Okay, so I'm going to give you that New Orleans lost Deontay Harris early after his big punt return. That hurt. They were without Taysom Hill. That hurt some. Michael Thomas, though, did play the whole game. Would you believe they shut him out?
He didn't look good, Skip.
He had 4 targets, no catches. Are you kidding me? But to balance off the level of the playing field, I told you I thought Antonio Brown was going to be the X factor, the secret ingredient in this game. Antonio Brown went out mid-second quarter and did not return. I don't know what he has. There's speculation, some kind of a knee something, but he didn't go. So can we see 2 plays that happened in what became the go-ahead field goal drive? It's 20-20 early in the fourth quarter. And Tom Brady is facing 3rd and 11 at his 20-yard line.
This might have been the play.
He goes back shoulder to Tyler Johnson, who makes the catch of the day. And he loves Tyler Johnson, who is a rookie out of Minnesota, who went in the 5th round because he can't run. He wouldn't even run a 40. He didn't go to the combine, didn't have a pro day 40. And yet I watched him a bunch at Minnesota, and all he did was not catch touchdowns, just catch football.
He just got open.
He just got open and made circus catches just like that one. And I'm sure Tom Brady was not surprised and trusted. I can throw it out there where this will have no risk of pick 6. I'll throw it to a place the DB has no shot at, but he will have a shot. And then what's he do? Who stepped in for Antonio Brown, the guy I raved about the whole offseason? Little Scotty Miller, and Tom goes right up the seam and drops it right inside.
And he called it old Jackrabbit, but what you got to do to get old Jackrabbit to get open? You got to double move him. If you don't double move him, he go.
And he double moved him, and he dropped it right inside Marcus Williams, the safety. He had to just sort of drop it down the chimney, and it was a huge play because it set up the go-ahead field goal.
Yep.
Okay, so now quickly, to your point about you got to be careful. It wasn't like it was a no-risk-it, no-biscuit game because Tom took his shots, but it was one of those games where his shots were just an inch off here or there.
Right.
And if we could quickly see, there are 4 shots that he took. On 3rd and 3 in the first series, he goes to Gronk, and it's just off his fingertips. It's just it's like 2 inches, 1 inch too far.
3-4 year Gronk would have got that.
He probably would have gotten that. And then he tries one to Mike Evans, and he goes right up the gut with it.
That was a heck
guess
of a
who's
play.
all over him? Guess who's
Marshawn Lattimore.
That's just too good.
Yeah.
Because the throw is right. It's right on time. It's right on schedule. But that Marshawn just blankets him. And then there it is to Chris Godwin. That was a great throw. And I thought Chris Godwin would have caught that. He's had a little bit of problem hanging on to the ball, and he almost came away with it. Almost. And then one more to Gronk is just off his fingertips. And to your point, the Gronk of 10 years ago would have caught that. It's right where it has to be.
Right.
He's pretty well covered. Okay.
My guy's catching it or it's incomplete.
Okay.
There's no risk of interception on those.
So he tried the deeper throws, but he only hit the one to Scotty Miller for 29, and that was his longest completion of the day.
Right.
But the key number is 0 because he had 0 turnovers. And the other key number is 1, which is 1 sack.
Yes.
That offensive line, starting with Tristan Wirfs over there at right tackle, another rookie, just has come of age. I got a question. Did Cam Jordan play yesterday?
Did an unbelievable job on him.
Did he play? He did play. But he was very quiet all day long.
Yes.
All of them, Oniata, all of them were quiet all day long. And if you give Tom just a little bit of time, he will find some ways to beat you. So in the end, would you believe that Tom Brady now has a shot at going to his 10th Super Bowl? That's just silliness. That's impossibly great. You got to watch the GOAT. I'm talking about the GOAT leader as well as the GOAT performer on full display yesterday because he has molded a team in Tampa Bay good enough now to advance all the way on the road to the NFC Championship game at Lambeau Field against your man Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not so. I mean, we saw this coming with Drew Skip. He didn't look the same this year, and then coming back off that injury, he never looked the same. I'm not so sure that Jameis Winston wouldn't have gave him a better chance because he could have pushed the ball down. Skip, I'm looking at these throws. Everything was contested. Because you play, because we do not believe Drew can throw the ball over our heads. We do not believe he can throw it outside the numbers. So, Todd Bowles says, look, we playing cover 5, which is 2-man, and we sitting inside. Do not let them get inside. And the one time Jared Cook got inside, he looking to his left and had Winfield Jr. punches the ball out from the right, from the backside, the guy that he just beat.
I have told you all year long, Tom Brady at 43 is playing at a much higher level than Drew Brees was all year at 41.
Oh, no question.
He just turned 42.
No question. Skip it. That wasn't even close.
It was a happy, sad conclusion for me to the game. I was happy for Brady, but I was very sad for Drew Brees. And there's some great footage last night after the game. They were on the field together. Drew's kids are all around, and Tom is throwing little passes to some of Drew's kids, his sons. But Drew tried to throw one to one of his kids and threw it left-handed. So it made me wonder, is his arm ailing that badly? Maybe it is.
Maybe the ribs or skipping, because we don't want to see our great players go out like that. We don't. I don't, Skip. I don't care what it is. I don't care who that Skip was running and they were limping. To see Drew, who's been great, and that's the last time. He's not coming back. I mean, although he say he's going to take some time, the decision has already been made because you were very close to retirement last year. It's over. You couldn't, even if you wanted to, not for $100 million, could Drew Brees come back and give them anything, Skip. We saw it last night. Skip is like a boxer, a shot fighter. We knew.
I agree.
Even out Skip when Ali fought with Trevor Burbick.
Oh God, I was there. I was at ringside.
When he fighting Larry Holmes, Skip, we knew it was over.
No, it was over.
Drew, we know it's over, bro.
Hey, Brett Favre's last year in Minnesota.
Oh, it was bad.
He was just oof.
And that's the thing. But Skip, the thing is that remember he finished second in the MVP voting the year before to, if I'm not mistaken, to Tom Brady.
Yep.
33-7, one of his best seasons ever.
Got to the NFC Championship game at New Orleans.
At New Orleans, and then you come back and Skip. And sometimes when they say stepped off a cliff, that's what he did. Tom Brady hadn't stepped off a cliff. Tom Brady looked, like I said, Tom Brady looked great because he understood the moment. It's like that Super Bowl against the Rams, Skip. It wasn't about big numbers.
No.
It was about avoiding the turnover. One guy Tom turned the ball over early, but Jared Goff turned it over late when it mattered the most.
Yep.
So give Tom credit. They're moving on. They deservedly so. They played an outstanding ball game. But it's going to be a different animal now.
It will.
Because not only because Aaron Rodgers can challenge you horizontal and vertically.
No doubt.
He can make every throw. You can't say, well, he can't throw this ball outside the numbers. Or he can't throw this ball here. Yes, he can. And they got a difference. Now, Devontae, that's a different animal. Michael Thomas has been nicked up. I mean, he played well, and then he got hurt, and then he came back, and he got into it with Sean Payton or somebody, and he was never the same all year.
I got it. But the last time that Aaron Rodgers tried to throw a couple balls to Devontae Adams was at Tampa Bay against that Bucs defense, and they went the other way.
Okay, your day.
One went to the house, one went to the 2-yard line.
Devontae, that was it. He just getting back. That was his first game back. Give it a while now. Okay.
No mercy.
What's up, Undisputed listeners? It's your boy, Shay Sharp. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now back to Undisputed.
No mercy.
The Chiefs barely held on to advance to the AFC Championship with a 5-point win over the Browns. Kansas City led 19-3 at halftime, but a third-quarter concussion to Patrick Mahomes opened the door for Baker Mayfield and the Browns to close the margin to 22-17 with 11 minutes remaining in the game. Backup QB Chad Henne was able to make a couple of huge plays for KC to keep the ball away from Baker and end the game down the stretch. So, Shannon, how surprised are you that the Chiefs pulled it off without Mahomes?
I was shocked. I was really, really shocked, considering Henne had really never started a playoff game. I don't even think he had thrown a pass in a playoff game, Skip, in his, 13-year career.
Yep.
So I'm saying to myself, it's over. They didn't put enough separation between them. They give Cleveland credit. They made them kick the field goals. Buckner missed the field goal, missed the PAT. I don't know what it is. It's just something about when the guy missed a PAT, all of a sudden it seems like the touchdown didn't even mean anything.
I agree.
It seems like Green Bay. I'm like, geez, because you all excited, like, yeah, we about to go up 7-0. He missed it?
Yep.
No Mahomes for the final 22 minutes of the ball game. KC left 4 points on the field. As I said, a short field goal, missed PAT. Baker threw the interception. Honey Badger did unbelievable. Honey Badger might have some of the best instincts that I've ever seen on a player. If you look at the interception, Skip, he starts in one place. He looks like he's going to rob the coverage. He baits Baker, knowing, he's going to throw it. He's going to throw this ball to Jarvis. He darts like he's going to go to the left, and as soon as he releases it, he jets in front of Jarvis and picks it. He has unbelievable instincts. But Skip, Baker has to win this game. They got an interception. Had Chad Henne, I don't know where the hell he was throwing this ball, Skip. He overthrew the guy, and Carl Joseph Fair caught the ball in the end zone. Baker has 8 minutes to take this ball, go down the field, put them in the lead, and put it on your defense to hold up. He got 1 first down on quarterback sneak. Baker has to win this ball game. I put this on Baker. Well, first of all, Kevin Stefanski, why the hell you challenged that? You challenged the wrong one. You should have challenged Marcus Robinson's catch, not Tyreek's. Skip is right there in front of him.
It happened on the
but
other
his back was just a fact. Skip, you know, he missed the one he should have challenged.
I got it.
So now it took a timeout from you. But I thought they got away from the run too early, Skip. I mean, they only had, 22 rush attempts, not enough. Baker had 37 pass attempts, and if you look at the second half when they started running the ball, Chubby started running it.
He did.
Kareem Hunt started running it.
Yep.
And I'm like, why would y'all get away from that? And why would y'all get away from that? But, Skip, Baker has to win this ball game. But I keep telling you, Skip, when they were down 3 scores and there's no pressure, everybody's like, oh, this game over. There's no pressure. You see Baker go right down the field. Oh, he hot dogging. He wheeling and dealing. He running for first down. But now all of a sudden, it's 8 minutes. You're down 5. Okay, come show me what you got. Show me what you're working with, bro. What do you do, Skip?
My turn?
Hey, your turn.
I thought he played extremely high-level football yesterday, especially for his first playoff run. That Chiefs defense is not only more talented than you think, starting with Honey Badger and those 2 studs they have rushing the passer, but it is extremely well coached by the man who coached the Giants defense to beat Tom Brady in the first Eli Super Bowl, Steve Spagnuolo. I'll get to those plays in just a moment, but let's go first to that play late in the first half, the Rashard Higgins play. And it's going to cut the score to 16-10. And it was a sweet throw by Baker, if we could see it, on a 1st and 10 play. And Rashard Higgins is loose to the goal line. Kevin Stefanski took him to task after the game and said, we teach, you don't extend.
That's Coach Belichick. You notice New England never does that, Skip? For that very reason.
Just don't extend because it's too dangerous, because the rules are rigged where it's so penal, because if you...
That's almost a death sentence.
Yeah, it's like you lose, you're an inch away from a touchdown, and all of a sudden it's their ball all the way back at the 20-yard line.
You don't even get Skip, at least give you the ball back. Say, okay, you know what? We're going to give you the ball back at the 30. You don't even give him the ball back. You take the ball from him. He had the first down.
He had the first down, and it's going to be 1st and goal at the 1. If you just duck and cover at that point, 1st and goal at the 1. But Sorensen comes flying in and clearly helmet to helmets him.
Right.
And it's blatantly clear, but it's not, quote unquote, reviewable.
It's not reviewable. And they're not going to call it why, Skip, because Higgins is deemed a runner. He's not defenseless. They don't look at it like that. Now, Skip, they're going to review this. Now, I was told yesterday, I talked to someone in the NFL office, they're going to review this in February and March, as opposed to having him calling it on the field. But, Skip, the official is looking, okay, is he at the line?
You're not even looking at the helmet.
You're right, no, exactly.
It's easy for us to see on review.
Exactly. Because we didn't see it at the time it actually happened. You weren't thinking helmet to helmet.
Okay, so it's a crushing psychological play.
Yes.
But they get the ball early in the 3rd quarter, and to your point, Baker throws only his 2nd interception in his last 369 attempts. That's pretty great.
That's great.
He has come of age of late over the last 12 games after, I'm knocking on wood, Odell went down and out with an injury. It wasn't working with Odell. It started to work with Rashard Higgins and Jarvis and all the tight end collection. They got a collection of tight ends. They got 3 of them who are all very good. And Baker shook off the interception, and here he came, and he went 8 plays, 77 yards, and hit Jarvis for a touchdown, and all of a sudden that did cut it to 19-10. Now we come to the fateful turning point. It's a 3rd and 1 play at the Kansas City 48 with 7:44 left in the 3rd quarter. And Andy Reid does what Andy Reid often does, which is he puts the ball in his quarterback's hands and he runs a college option play.
But remember, Skip, that he had run the play earlier for a touchdown.
Yep. And so it's cute and it looks cute until that happens. And I was a little surprised that Patrick was that hurt by the play, because at a glance it didn't look that damaging to me.
Right. I was like, okay, did he hit him helmet to helmet? Skip, I don't even know if his head hit the ground. I thought did his head hit the ground?
No, barely. I don't think there was any ground. Andy said that he got hit in the back of the head.
You're right, okay.
But it doesn't even look, it doesn't look that helmet to helmet sort of crushing blow on the back of the head.
Right.
I don't know. And then he did get choked for about 2 seconds, maybe, as he got pulled over, and maybe the wind got sort of knocked out of him. But I expected him to get checked out and come right back in the game.
I knew he would come.
Nope.
Skip, first of all, even if he wanted, once he staggers like that, Skip, when they have to hold you to keep you from falling, NFL says, ain't no way you going back in this game. You're not fit to make us look bad.
Okay. I still believe, having looked at that about 1,000 times now, I'm pretty sure he's going to be okay for next Sunday.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
I mean, unless it wasn't like the Andy Dalton play where Bostic just clocked him head to head. You know, it's such a terrible impact that you could see where he's going to have to miss the next
he was
game.
out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he was literally knocked out.
Right.
Okay. So here comes Chad Henne. I've never been the biggest fan of Chad Henne. He did start when he was a freshman at Michigan, which is pretty great.
Right.
Nobody since Rick Leach, remember Rick Leach back in the 80s, had ever started as a freshman.
Right.
And yet Miami took him in the second round, and he didn't make it there. And Jacksonville tried and didn't make it there. But I guess Andy Reid said, I'll take him because he's the perfect backup to my guy, the magic man, Patrick Mahomes, because he's no threat, obviously. We're not grooming him to be a starter.
And plus, Skip, when you have these quarterbacks like Mahomes or Brady or Rodgers, you don't anticipate your backup ever playing anyway unless it's mop-up duty.
I agree.
So you won't get a chance to see what he can do.
Speaking of mop-up duty, Andy Reid got one huge, great break. In the final regular season game, he opted not to play Patrick Mahomes. It wasn't because he wanted Chad Henne to get snaps. He just wanted to protect and keep Patrick out of harm's way.
Correct.
And I would have played him a quarter just to give him a little flow, a little rhythm, because it's going to be too long. It's going to be 3 weeks. But no, he went with Chad Henne. Well, how lucky was Andy Reid yesterday, because Chad Henne had gotten to play a whole game.
Correct.
Where he got in the flow. He's 35 years of age. He's done this a lot before. He started a bunch of games. So it wasn't shocking for him to get action. It wasn't like that, was that kid Tyler Huntley who got thrown into the fire at Buffalo the other night in the fourth quarter. That's hard, man. You're a rookie out of Utah, undrafted. Good luck with that.
And Henne's been basically a backup hit for the better part of his career, so he's used to coming off cold and doing what he did.
He is, but he's also been a starter.
Correct,
and so he gets it. He knows it. And yet, I was, except for the interception, which was not smart, but other than that, he comes right in and they move right down the field and get a field goal. That put them ahead 22-17 thanks to Chad Henne making plays. So here we go. And now we come down to the fateful Baker series. After the interception of Chad Henne in the end zone, that's 8-10 left to play. So Baker comes out and gets one first down via quarterback sneak. And then here we go. 1st and 10, they try Chubb, and he goes nowhere and loses a yard. So now you're 2nd and 11, and now these two fateful plays happen. Guess what Spagnuolo does? He brings the house. They are all over him, and they got a screenplay set up, which was the perfect call.
But the side they run the screen to, Frank Clark is backing out, so he got it covered.
And then the third down play we just saw, he just has to safety valve it to Kareem Hunt, and it's completely covered in the flat, and he gets 3 yards, and you got a punt. Okay, so it came down to those two plays because you didn't know. I thought Baker would at least get the ball back. So what did yesterday remind me of? It reminded me of the Brady game at Tampa Bay, in which Patrick got the ball with 4:10 left in his 27-24 as Brady had driven them to cut it to 3. And they never saw the ball again. Brady never got the ball back. Well, in this case, it's the same song, second verse, because it's 4:10 left, and all of a sudden, here comes Chad Henne again, and they eat the whole clock up. But how did they do it? On a play that...
the third down?
Third and forever play. If we could see this, Chad Henne, guess what he timed in the 40 at the Combine? He timed 4.9. 4.9. That's a 4.9 40, and he almost got the first down. And I don't know what 55 is doing.
Well, if he ran 4.9 back 13 years ago, that's easy 6 flat.
I think who's 55? I'm not sure who. I
don't know.
Yeah, but he doesn't get to the edge quick enough, and that looked like a 4.4 40. So maybe it's just adrenaline. But that is the play of the day, because that sets up the call of the day by Andy Reid, who completely trusts his backup quarterback to run a play that can be a little bit tricky.
Skip, I tweeted before they even ran the play. I say sprint option coming.
You said that?
Before I already knew what they would run.
Why would you let the backup quarterback? Because that's sprint right, Z out. To me, that's like a simple.
That's the catch play, Skip. The only difference is that you run it in the field. They ran it in the field of play. And once you look at the formation, they motion the back into the backfield. Now his job is to chop the end man of the line of scrimmage. You tell Chad Henne, whatever you do, don't pull up. Now if you remember in '86, Skip, they ran this. The Giants were playing in San Francisco. Joe Montana pulled up. Jim Burt hit him, Leonard Marshall hit him in the back of his head and knocked him out. He knocked him out of the game. So they teach you this: whatever you do not pull up because we're turning the backside loose. They empty the formation, called empty formation, Skip. We motion the back into the backfield. You're going to chop the end man of the line of scrimmage, Tyreek. The only way you can stop this play, Skip, is that you tell the slot guy, I don't care what else happens, jump outside.
Yeah.
Other than that, Skip, you got no choice. You can't stop it because Tyreek's going to juke you. He's going to and do what he did. So the only way you stop that, you got to jump outside. 36 has no chance. He has no chance.
So Andy Reid asked an immobile quarterback, even though he just run for first down, to sprint right, throw on the move to Tyreek, your best wide receiver, obviously, one of the best in football. But you're asking him to make an on-the-run throw that is on the money enough that he can catch it. And he hit him right in the hands.
Right.
Now, I don't doubt Tyreek's going to catch the ball.
Right.
I just have my doubts that Chad Henne is going to...
Chad Henne's going to be able to make that.
What if he throws it in the dirt? What? All of a sudden, Baker is going to get the ball, and instead, Baker never got the ball back.
But, Skip, in practice, that's one of the throws. That's the staple. Of all the plays that's in the West Coast system, that plays in there. Steve Young read it. Steve Young had it, so he read it to the left.
I mean, to your point, Bill Walsh invented it.
Yes.
And Joe Montana perfected it.
That's the catch.
I mean, it was, although the catch
was in the end zone, he ran Dwight Clark is on the outside.
Okay.
Freddie Solomon's in the slot.
But it was a broken play.
Right.
I mean, it didn't work.
Right.
It got covered. And Joe just had to keep running and running and running, and Too Tall and Dede Lewis are all over him, and he has to throw falling backwards to Dwight Clark, who's about 6'4", maybe 6'3".
Skip, see what happens when you're in the field of play, Skip, you can't run the back like you can in the end zone. So you're telling the outside receiver to probably run a comeback because the quarterback's going to stay on the move.
Yeah.
Guy, you get to the flat. Well, what happens is that the guy's playing inside.
Yeah.
And so once Tyreek gives him a move inside, 36 is lost. It's over. He has so much separation that he can't tackle him right now. If you do not jam that guy, Skip, or you do not get your hands on him or jump outside, you can't stop that play. You can't.
Well, it worked. And Andy Reid looked like a genius again.
And your guy Baker Mayfield, since he came off the bench against the Jets as a rookie, he's now 0 for 20 in games in which he's trailing by at least 8 points. So in other words, he needs the protection of the run game. That's what I'm saying. He's 0 for 20 since that start since coming off the bench against the Jets. That's what I'm saying, Skip. 0 for 20.
Oh, wait a second. Over the last 12 games, what's he up to now? 21 touchdowns to 3 interceptions?
Skip, you see what happens when they just let him dink and dunk? That last possession, what did Spagnuolo do? He dialed up that pressure. What did Baker do? Okay, that's what I'm saying, Skip.
Yeah, most coordinators wouldn't dial that up.
Yeah, you got to dial that pressure up. No, you ain't gotten comfortable. I let you gotten comfortable. I had a nice toasted 70 degrees up here. You got comfortable. Let me turn that heat up on you. Let me put it about 95 and see if you make you sweat a little bit.
Well, both those Kansas City coaches turned up the heat. Both of them really, they showed great guts.
Skip, but you know Andy's going to throw the ball. What's his MO?
Yep.
He ain't running it?
Nope.
It was crazy the way it all ended. But also, guys, we still have to talk about this guy. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers will get to host the NFC Championship next Sunday on Fox after taking care of the Rams 32-18 over the weekend. Rodgers finished with just under 300 passing yards to go along with 3 total touchdowns. Rodgers said even the limited fans in attendance made him emotional as Green Bay gets to host the conference championship for the first time with Rodgers at QB. Wow, that's crazy, and it will be a cold one. Shannon, how impressive was Rodgers on Saturday?
He was great. He was flawless. Skip, you got to take away something. Skip, you can't let him run for almost 200, throw for almost 300, and say, yeah, we're going to win this game. Skip, they scored on their first 5 possessions. They would have scored if Lazard doesn't drop the touchdown. He drops a touchdown. And I'm like, bro, you take away something. Say, you know what? if Aaron Rodgers throws for 400, but we're not going to let Aaron Jones and we're not going to let Williams and we're not going to let Dillon, we're not going to let them dominate the run game. But Skip, if you can't take away anything, how do you beat a team that's as gifted as this with that guy at quarterback? Look, we knew that Aaron Donald wasn't going to be Aaron Donald. Like I told you, Skip, I had that injury. My cartilage tore and my rib actually protrudes now. So I know how painful that is. I got shot for 2 weeks, and I said, no more. I'm just going to have to pay through this because I'm tired of y'all sticking me with these needles, Skip. I said, no. But it's hard for you to move, Skip. You used to just like, ooh, just going and ripping. And Aaron couldn't do any of that. So now he's neutralized. No pressure. He only played 54% of the snaps. So that lets you know he's not 100%. And then the snaps that he played, he was ineffective. So now you're basically playing with Brockers, Day, and Fox. That's not and Leonard Floyd. That's not enough. You needed Aaron Donald to be 100% healthy in order to generate a pass rush to try to make Aaron Rodgers uncomfortable. But Aaron was great. I mean, Skip, that's the #1 defense in football, the #1 scoring defense in football. And Aaron Rodgers went through it like a hot knife going through butter. Up and down the field he went. He was great, had the highest QBR of the weekend. I'm not surprised by that. 8 or 12 on third down. They should have been what, 9 or 12? Because Lazard, like I said, he dropped a touchdown, came back and made up for it. But 5 yards a carry, 8 yards every time they threw the football. Skip, you can't win like that. Now, I don't expect it to be that easy, but Rodgers was not pressured, and these great quarterbacks, Skip, they too good. If you don't pressure, you ain't beating them. I don't care how good your defense is. I don't care how many Pro Bowl guys you got in your secondary. If you do not pressure guys like him and the guy from Buffalo and Mahomes and Brady, you're not beating them. So don't give me all that, oh, man, yeah, with our back end, we top notch. I don't care what you got back there. Don't put that guy under duress, and you're not winning the game.
So, I would like to acknowledge publicly that my man Shannon Sharp beat me out of yet another rare case of Diet Mountain Dew on Saturday afternoon because I made the mistake of betting a case on Aaron Donald.
You bet on Jared Goff.
No, I bet on Aaron Donald. I said, I'll take Aaron Donald over Aaron Rodgers. Big mistake. Aaron Donald said during the week, I feel great. And I thought, if you're that good, if you were, as Troy Aikman said, many have said, best defensive player ever, you've even leaned in that direction, though I think you stopped short of
I ain't gonna say
Lawrence
best
Taylor
ever.
and Reggie White.
Yeah.
Best now, best for the last, whatever, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years, yes, I agree.
So I finally gave in, and I said, if he's going to play, if he's going to suck it up, he needs to take a shot. And then he needs to give a shot because he needs to.
You didn't put pressure on Rodgers.
He needs to take 2 people at a time, and I believe he got doubled on nearly every snap. I have him at 55% of the snaps.
Okay.
He usually plays 85%.
Right.
But they said they gave him the choice to take himself in and out. They did not. It wasn't a coach's decision. Right. It was his decision. I'm going to go. I'm not going to go. And there were some series he would just go stand on the sideline.
Right.
After a while, as Shannon Sharp always taught me, if you step on the football field, you got to go.
You got to go.
It's like no excuses. You just got to go. Yeah. And once you're out there, you got to stay out there.
Everybody sees 99. They don't forget that you had a rib injury. All they see is 99, and they see Donald on the back.
And all I had all day long was 99 problems. 99 problems from Aaron Donald because he did nothing. He had 1 assisted tackle. He had obviously no sacks, no
pressures.
He had
what? He almost got Rodgers on 1. He
grabbed his jersey, and it resulted in a 33-yard completion to Tanyan. Okay, so that didn't work either. And the crushers for me were that Jared Goff actually played pretty well with a glove over a hand that held a thumb that had 3 pins in it in the cold up in Green Bay. It wasn't that cold on Saturday, sort of early evening. But the point was that Jared Goff drove them right down in their second possession, down 3-0, to 4th and 1 at the 14-yard line. And what happened on 4th and 1? They false start. Well, listen.
After a timeout, so Skip,
that's it. That's a false start. You can't do it. You cannot false start. It's one of the guards' false starts. Both of the guards' false start. Okay, this is Lambeau Field against the MVP Aaron Rodgers. You have to cash 7 points.
Yes.
And after this false start, you say, that's it. We got to kick a field goal.
Yes.
And it's 3-3. Here comes Aaron Rodgers. But here comes the defense, and it rises up on 2nd and 7 from the Rams' 36-yard line. Aaron throws an incompletion aimed at Devontae. But what happens after the ball is gone? The ball is gone to Devontae, but then what happens?
Aaron Donald gets
Aaron, no, Aaron, don't do that. Don't do that. Aaron actually took a swing at him, grabbed Jenkins by the face mask. He got blocked to the ground to start with, and he was frustrated.
Yes.
I'm sure he's frustrated with his injury, blah, blah, blah. And yet, this is the Defensive Player of the Year 2 times over. This is the guy who'll probably win it again this year. He's probably the runaway for it. And you cannot grab a face mask and then throw a little punch because it's 15 yards. You had him 3rd and 7.
At least not while the official was right there telling you to break it up.
Okay? It's just such a bad play, and it sends a message to the rest of the defense. Our stud is he's just out of whack today. He's not himself today. And all of a sudden they crumble, and obviously Aaron takes it right on home with the big first down and 15-yard penalty, and it's 10-3 Packers. So you have a chance because against Aaron up there, you need to take the lead just to keep him on his back foot. Psychologically, you got to keep him a little bit off balance.
Right.
But no. But then I'm going to have to call you on one word that you did use in describing his game. You said it was flawless, but they had 2 more chances at the end of the first half. 14 seconds left. If we could see these 2 throws. Here's one that is actually better caught by Troy Hill. Troy, you got to just catch the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to stop the field goal. Troy?
Skip, if those guys could catch, they'd be on the offensive side of the football.
And here's another one. John Johnson, and it hits him right in the breadbasket. Hits him right between it hit him in the face mask, actually. It's another one. It's almost like Brett Favre. They used to say, he's going to throw you a couple. You got to be ready to catch them. Aaron's not like Brett Favre. He's not that careless, that much of a gunslinger. But if you catch one of those 2 balls, at least it's only 16-10 at halftime, and instead it was 19-10, and it felt a little bit out of reach. Then what happens first play of the 3rd quarter? The other Aaron that I always say is the real unsung MVP of the team, Aaron Jones, gets loose, and he is... Okay, what are you going to do? And then Aaron finally hits the big throw at the end of the game to Lazard, and that breaks it completely open, and it's 32-18. And my man, Lil Wayne, is celebrating at what's his name, Smith's house, Z Smith's house after the game. They're having a big party, and I'm sure it's a little party. I'm sure they were wearing masks, but that's where our man, Lil Wayne, wound up.
Skip, if somebody would have told you, okay, Aaron Rodgers has a good game. Okay, you're not going to be surprised by that. But, Skip, you let the team rush for almost 200. How you beat a team if you're the #1 defense in football? How do you give up basically 500 yards of total offense and expect to win a game?
Okay, so what caught my ear after the game was Aaron Rodgers said, and I quote, "I was barely touched."
Yes.
He was barely touched?
He was.
Well, guess what? To your point, they had 189 yards rushing. Would you believe that was the best rushing performance that he has ever benefited from in any playoff game he's ever played in his career? That's the most yards rushing Aaron Rodgers has ever been able to play off. Yeah, 189 yards. Well, obviously, Tampa Bay is pretty tough against the run.
Right.
So I would hope they could keep them under 189.
And see what happens, Skip. When you can run the football, guess what? Play action. Remember the touchdown to Lazard? What was it? Play action. Because we got to, linebackers, y'all got to hit those holes. Y'all got to get up there closer. And the safety's looking down there. This is when I knew the Rams were in trouble. I watched Green Bay's center blocking John Johnson, the safety. If the offensive center is blocking your safety, Skip, you in trouble. If you're that far down the field and blocking your safety, you're in trouble.
Right, and they did that without Bakhtiari, who is their all-pro
He
left
might be
tackle.
he might be a top 3 lineman in all of football. But Skip, the guy they've kicked out there, he ain't bad. The Green Bay's got a very good offensive line. I believe they're now. Sure, they would love to have Bakhtiari, but interior-wise, they're good.
They are good. So, would you believe that Aaron Rodgers? It has taken him 190 career starts to get to his first home NFC Championship game, which is the longest in history.
I can believe
in history.
Yes.
which is not a great thing. But he finally got what he has dreamed of against a guy who's about to play in his 14th championship game, obviously 13 in the AFC. But that's what you got going on. He finally made it. He got what he wanted, and it's against the guy who is one game away from playing in the first ever home team Super Bowl, which is to be played at Tampa. So that's what Brady has out there as a carrot. I could be the first ever to play in a home Super Bowl if I can get through Lambeau.
Tom, Aaron has talked about this, Skip. He talked about this from the beginning. I want to get home for the championship. I want somebody to have to come through Lambeau. I want somebody to have to come through Green Bay. I want someone to play in the cold. I want it 20. Now, it's looked like it's going to be in the 20s. It's going to be some snow.
Yep.
This is what, Skip, he talking to you like, well, dang, Aaron, I mean, you make it seem like if you just get the game there, it's going to be a cakewalk. This is what he wanted. He spoke openly about this.
Okay, and he gets to play a warm weather team at home.
Yes.
Yet the quarterback for the warm weather team has played in a whole lot of snowy games.
He don't count.
He won't be bothered by this, but I don't know. Devin White and Fournette and some of I don't know, maybe
Mike Evans, how many cold weather games Mike Evans has played in, how many for Chris Godwin, Mike Evans went to Texas A&M. I'm not so sure it ain't really getting 20 and snowing very often in Texas.
He probably hadn't experienced a whole lot of it.
Right.
Chris Godwin was Penn State, so
So he got an opportunity. But it's gonna be a great game. This is Fox like, yes.
Yes. Thinking about that.
So was I. Like,
it doesn't get much better.
Hey, Skip, you couldn't go wrong. You got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Sure, you take Drew Brees, but okay, Tom. Okay, we take Tom.
Well, remember, guys, Tom did tell Aaron Andrews after the game that his blood has thinned since going to Tampa. So, guys, your body does change. I mean, I've changed since moving out here from Minnesota. It will be cold.
He be all right.
Aaron Rodgers wants it, and I cannot wait. That game on Fox next weekend.
No mercy. Hey, Undisputed listeners, it's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
No mercy. Time for our trending story, brought to you by the all-new Kia Sorento, the world's first storytelling machine. Josh Allen and the Bills got the best of the Ravens in a 17-3 win on Saturday. Buffalo's defense locked down Lamar Jackson for under 200 total yards, no touchdowns, and a costly pick six in the second half. Lamar would end up leaving on the final play of the third quarter with a concussion and could not return to attempt a comeback. So, Shannon, do you think Lamar would have pulled it out if he hadn't gotten hurt?
Hell no. Lamar wasn't playing well. Skip, they had 3 points on 8 drives in the first 3 quarters of the ball game. And we got to stop this. Listen, when I critique any player, black, white, doesn't matter. I'm not critiquing him as a person. I don't care about his charitable contributions. I don't care what he does off the field. I'm critiquing his play. If you believe Lamar Jackson is going to run the Ravens to a Super Bowl, you're out of your mind. Let me tell you who Lamar Jackson reminds me of, Skip. He's Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's an MVP level, and you have great success in the regular season. But when you get to the playoffs and they clamp your butt down and you only have one dimension to your game, if Giannis can't Euro step you and dunk you, what can he do? He doesn't have a post up. He don't shoot mid range. He shooting, Skip, the other night he was 1 for 10 from the free throw line, and he doesn't shoot the three. Okay, Lamar Jackson, they say, you know what? We're gonna take your legs away. We not gonna let you go for $150 running the football. Throw the ball. Of the 24 passes that he threw, only 5 went 10 yards or further. And you believe you can win a championship like that? Come on, people. This is not about putting no brother down. This is about critiquing his play. Right now, Lamar Jackson is not a good enough thrower of the football to get the Ravens to where they need to be. It's simple as that. I'm just critiquing his play. I'm telling you what I see based on my 14 years of playing the game and my 20-plus years of being around the game and covering it. He's not good enough current as constructed right now, Skip. He's not good enough. As simple as that. And no, he wasn't coming back. What made you think he was coming back? Hell, the Baltimore defense played unbelievable. That's the second or third best offense in football, and they held them to 10 points. 10 points. That's what Baltimore did, an unbelievable job. No, they weren't coming back. And then he stared Mark Andrews down. Everybody knows Mark Andrews, when they get in the area, he's running one route. He's running the post behind the tight end, or is he going to run the stop? 24 is in between him and Snead. He stared at it the whole while. He said, well, I ain't even worried about Snead because you looking at him. And he hits 24 right in the chest. No, they weren't coming back, Skip. No, the defense played unbelievable. The defense played well enough to win that game. But Lamar's going to have to get better at throwing the football in order for Baltimore ultimately take that next step. And stop this notion. When they win, ooh, look at Lamar, look at Lamar. The moment they lose, his receiver's terrible. Fire Greg Roman, fire John Harbaugh. Nobody needs to be fired. They put an offense in that's conducive to what Lamar Jackson does really, really well. So stop looking to place blame on somebody when Lamar does not play well. He did not play well. Simple as that.
So I will give you this. Lamar will never be a great thrower of the football. I think he can work every offseason as hard as he can work, and I don't think he'll ever be great.
Can he get better than what he is right now? Because if he can do that, he can win. They can win.
Even the way he is, and I believe he will work his tail off to get a little better. However good he can be throwing it, he will find that maximum.
What?
I still think he throws it well enough to win a Super Bowl. I saw enough during the MVP year. He can throw darts. He's an accurate thrower of the football.
You watch Giannis every year in the regular season. How many times you see him do that in the postseason?
Okay, it's hard to compare Giannis and Lamar because Giannis is 7 feet tall or whatever, 6'11", whatever he is.
I'm just saying he's an MVP.
I know, but you can't keep him from the rim until you build a wall in the playoffs.
So what they do to Lamar? What they do to Lamar in that game right there? They kept his butt from getting 30 and 15 and 20-yard and 30-yard runs, and they say throw the football down the field.
Timeout. We have to take into consideration the conditions. What was I taught by Coach Walsh and Coach Landry from the start? What did they always say? Rain's fine. We can play in the rain. We can throw it in the rain. We cannot play in the wind. Nothing is worse than wind to disrupt a passing attack. It's just hard. What did Justin Tucker do the first 2 times he kicked the football?
Oh, he clanked it.
He missed 2 field goals. This is the greatest kicker. I don't know, Vinatieri is obviously just on longevity, but on leg strength and accuracy, Justin Tucker is it. And he's just like buffaloed by the Buffalo wind, right? He's just saying, what was that?
I mean, you look at those flags up there, they're straight out.
So it's hard to throw it, especially against the wind. Well, Lamar had the wind at his back for only 1 quarter, and it was the second quarter because he only played 1, 2, and 3. So first quarter, third quarter, he was against the wind, and he was up against it. In the second quarter alone, he went 7 of 13 for 111 yards. Well, if I did 111 times 4, you can see what that would be, 444 yards. That you'd say, well, that was quite a game, right? But obviously, you only get the wind for half of the game.
Right.
Well, he didn't get his second quarter with the wind because the final play of the third quarter, fatefully, he bangs his head on the turf as he's falling backwards, and that snap, that wasn't his fault. That wasn't a Lamar pass to himself. You know, it went over his head, and the snaps were going low and high all night long.
All over the place.
And in part because of the wind. So, to me, I would have loved to have seen Lamar get the ball with the wind because I believe in his guts, his football character, and I believe he would have willed them to a win in a close game. You know, you can't – it's hard. You know, it's a terrible break. Okay, how about this? Let's do this stat before you go.
Okay.
Would you believe that in his career so far, up until that terrible idea of interception that he threw, that he had thrown 49 touchdowns in the red zone inside the 20, 49 touchdowns with 0 interceptions.
Yeah.
The guy who you say can't throw it well enough. Now, that's pretty great.
No, Skip. throwing it well enough and consistently enough, Skip, you do realize Baltimore plays outside. So the likelihood of them, what dome team in the AFC over the next couple of years? Kansas City is going to be there. Buffalo's going to be there. So those are the teams that you're going to have to beat.
I know, but Josh Allen was struggling to win, too.
Skip.
He wasn't lighting it up. Who had the better QBR in this game? Help me out. You love Josh Allen.
Skip. Josh Allen was 23 of 37 for 206. Stephon Diggs had 106 yards.
Josh Allen had a QBR of 51. Lamar Jackson had a QBR of 56. So he threw it a little better, although they include legs and
Exactly.
arm. But,
Skip,
okay.
But if you look at the throws that he was making, and what do I keep telling you? If this is a right-handed quarterback, don't let him escape to the right side. How many times did Baltimore let him escape to the right side, and he was able to throw the ball, Skip, and pick up a first down? You don't let him to his dominant hand. Skip, at some point in time, Lamar Jackson's going to have to get consistent at throwing the football like Giannis. Skip, what did they do to LeBron? Back off. Until LeBron started hitting those jump shots, LeBron ain't win no titles. Skip, you got to build, you got to evolve your game because teams will take away what you're really, really good at.
Okay. But what are the odds that you throw a between the numbers interception into the end zone? It's not outside the numbers.
Skip, you stared him down.
Okay, but what are the odds? You stare him down. I got you. You throw your first ever interception inside the red zone. What's the name? Taron Johnson.
Taron Johnson.
Yeah, he catches it. He's a yard deep, and he said after the game, I looked down and I thought, maybe I better take a knee. And he said, I looked up and I saw nothing but green. Okay, help me out. What are the odds that you throw one right over the middle and he runs it 101 yards back? If you throw it outside the numbers, if you throw it to the sideline in the end zone and he picks it on the run, then you got trouble.
Well, here's the thing, though, Skip. If you look at it, all the receivers are behind him.
Okay,
so
but it's lucky. It's like you just happen to be in the right place at the perfect time.
And he got a blocker. Tre'Davious White.
Guess who? And he walled off Lamar.
Right.
Because Lamar was going to outrun him.
Yeah, Lamar would have caught him.
He would have caught him.
Yeah.
Okay, but he got a little convoy, and that was the end of that deal.
Skip, Lamar is tremendous, but he's going to have to get better at throwing the football consistently. Skip, I'm not talking about a game here or there because you know come playoff time, they're going to take away what you do good. They're going to take that away. They're going to force you to beat them throwing the football. And if he can't do that, Skip, I don't see how. Teams are not going to let you run for 300 yards, 400 yards. Not in the playoff game. They're going to stack the line. And if you can do that, I'm not saying that he can't, because I believe he can. He's gotten better from year 1 to year 3.
Yep.
So if he just needs to get consistent. That's what he needs to get, Skip, consistent. Can he make some throws? Sure. But can he consistently make those throws? That's the difference between Josh Allen. Josh Allen's got consistent. He made some throws his rookie year. You're like, damn. But then the next year, he got even better. This year, he took a gigantic leap. Skip, that kid's a top 5 quarterback. It's hard to say for the next 5 years. Obviously, you believe Brady, Rodgers is going to be that's going to tail in. It's hard to say you taking anybody over this kid other than Mahomes for the next 5 years.
Baker Mayfield.
Don't do that,
Obviously.
Skip.
Well,
Skip,
I'm about to do it right here on the
I'm not going to let you do that. Stop.
Well,
don't do that. Don't do that,
You're not going to be able to stop it.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. But you just being disrespectful. You trolling me now.
I'm not trolling.
You trolling.
I'm trying to teach you.
Trolling? We don't troll on this show.
Yeah, he's trolling me, Jenny.
No,
He's trolling
only
me. He's trolling
teaching.
me.
That's a good point.
No mercy.
Well, Bill Belichick had to watch from home as Tom Brady advanced to yet another conference championship, but this time with his new team, the Buccaneers. It's the first time since 2008 that his old team, the Patriots, haven't made the postseason after they finished just 7-9 this season. So, Shannon, how bad does Belichick look for not wanting to go forward with Tom Brady?
Well, it's easy to say that now, Skip, but I think Coach Belichick knew that he couldn't provide Tom Brady with what he needed, and Tom was smart enough to realize it. Julian Edelman is breaking down, and Jacoby Myers and these other tight ends, Skip, he just knew. Skip, it's like, look, this is a relationship. And, Skip, I've been in relationships where me and the girl is broken up and she's later gone on to get married. I'm not upset. I just couldn't give her what the next guy could. Coach Belichick realized I couldn't give Tom Brady the weapons that he has in Tampa. I can't get mad at them, just like Coach Belichick can't get mad at Tom. I'm sure Tom would have loved to have stayed, finished his career in New England. But Skip, he knew he had to leave because Coach Belichick couldn't give him what he needed to compete. And at this juncture, you see James Harden threw a fit. James like, man, bro, at this stage of my career, I'm trying to win a championship. I ain't just trying, I love scoring points, but I want to be able to compete for something. Tom is not coming to work, pour hours over film, Skip, just to go out there and be 11-5 and get knocked out in the divisional round of the playoffs. He wants to compete for titles, and he wasn't going to be able to do that. So it's easy to say, yeah, Coach Belichick misses Tom. But Coach Belichick knew he couldn't give Tom.
Do you think that's why he let him go or pushed him out the back door?
I think there's a part of him didn't think Tom could do what Tom is doing currently. And he was right. He couldn't do that in New England. He could do that somewhere else with some weapons. Skip, you know he's not throwing 40 touchdowns with those weapons. With those tight ends, with those receivers, Tom Brady ain't scoring.
The tight ends you can't name, right?
I don't know, Skip. I don't know.
Matt LaCoste. Ryan Izzo.
Okay.
Right? Ryan Izzo. Where is he now?
Jacoby Myers and Demir Bird.
N'Keal Harris.
He's not throwing 40 touchdowns. He's not throwing for 4,400 yards with that group.
He's not. The running game was okay. The offensive line was down a little from what it's been. Look, Bill Belichick, as he neared 70 years of age, said, I want a shot to show everybody I was the reason. I want the ability. I have earned the right to show the world that I will quickly turn this around into another Super Bowl team without that guy who was getting way too much of the credit for my taste, said Bill Belichick.
Right.
And yet it was up to Robert Kraft to referee and to pick a side. And for years, he picked Tom's side.
He did.
Until the bitter end, when you had it on a platter for Tom to play 2-3 more years and call it a day and a career and a dynasty in New England, which is the way it should have been.
Right.
But Kraft said, no, at this point, I got to side with my coach. He and his coaching staff are whispering to me, he's about done. He's losing it. He's starting to show diminished skills.
You remember, Skip, when Tom Brady said this, he's probably like 40, maybe 39, 40. He says, I want to play till he's 45. Well, Tom said that. Mr. Kraft even backed it up.
He did.
Tommy said he wants to play to 45. He's going. Coach Belichick never said anything about that. Coach Belichick said, I'm just trying to get through this. I'm trying to get through the next game. I'm trying to get through a season. So Coach Belichick never was on board with the 45 like Tom and Mr. Kraft was. And so at the end of the day, like you said, Mr. Kraft's like, I got to make a decision. Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, I choose Tom. And Tom plays one more year, but I'm without Coach Belichick for the rest of my career. And so he went with the coach over the better question is, what's Mr. Kraft feeling? Because you know Coach Belichick don't give a damn, Skip. Yeah, I mean,
I agree. But Robert Kraft has to be shaking his head quietly. He'll never say so publicly and saying, damn, what are we thinking? Because I promise you today, you're going to see a whole lot more number 12 Buccaneers jerseys pop up in and around Boston.
Yeah.
You watch.
But Skip also, Mr. Kraft also knows, and like I said, I still don't know where the money went. Now maybe they got cryptocurrency. They doing Bitcoin. Because Skip, I'm looking at it, I'm like, how are you guys pressed up against the cap when ain't nobody making no money but Tom and Gilmore? I mean, those are your guys, Skip. Those are the only guys. I mean, Tom wasn't even a top 10 quarterback as far as money paid. So I'm like, how y'all pressed against the cap? I understand you just kicked the can down the road, but hell, it wasn't nothing in the can to begin with. It ain't like you spilled something.
Tom Brady just took $20 million, which is the all-time quarterback
You got 2 years, $50 million guaranteed.
Yep.
25.
To take a team all the way to the NFC Championship game that was 7-9 a year ago.
And he probably got a couple of incentives. He win the NFC Championship
but I
game.
don't think they were that much.
Yeah. I mean, probably $1 million
not
bucks.
Significant. Okay. So, to me, Bill Belichick, once again, is getting exposed not only as a coach, but as a team builder. Much more as a team builder than a coach. Because at moments this year, I thought his defense was pretty good.
Right.
At moments, they got a lot out of Cam.
Right.
But not enough to the point that Cam's not going to be back.
Let me ask you a question, Skip. Do you believe this, and I believe this is the reason that Tom went to Tampa, is that when he was in New England at the end, if he didn't play great, they lost. Tom Brady didn't have a great game, but his defense was outstanding. Do you believe that Tom could have played like some of the games he played this year and still won? I don't believe that. Because I don't believe the offensive weapons that they have. Okay. I believe Tampa's defense is better than New England. I get that Stephon was in and out of the lineup, and he's probably going to be out of there.
You had some opt-outs.
Right. Yeah.
Hightower.
But
okay.
Skip, Tom is smarter than people gave him credit for. And they see golly gee whiz, shucks, Tom.
Thank you.
But Tom is surveying the land. Where can I go that there's an opening that has Skip, I'm going to let them handle the defense. I need to be concerned about the offense. Hey, Mike Evans, 27. Chris Godwin, Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard. They got Rojo. They got some nice little pieces.
Well, I told you he looked at little Scotty Miller and he said, you know what? I can work with that.
Right. And it is reported that the Saints were interested had Drew retired.
Yep.
I'm sure he would. I couldn't even imagine Tom Brady with Sean Payton. Gee.
Yep. So if you look at what Belichick has gotten away with, he has been a below average, I'm talking about team builder, because he got to buy the groceries.
Yeah.
He's bought a bunch of rotten groceries over the years that Tom has camouflaged and risen above. And just a year ago, Tom had them in position, final regular season game. He drives down, scores his touchdown to go ahead 14-10 to be the 2 seed in the AFC with all that junk, all those rotten apples that they had left in the cupboard in New England. Well, that was the end of the quote-unquote dynasty, because then they give up a Ryan Fitzmagic drive to win the game, knocks them out of the 2 seed, out of the bye. They lose at home to Tennessee. And now they lose their way because, help me out, it's not like he's grooming a young quarterback where you say, boy, give that kid a couple of years and he'll be Brady-esque. Jared Stidham?
And you're exactly right, Skip. And if I'm looking at New England, I'm looking at the AFC. Let's just say that the Patriots finished 7-9 this year. Let's just say Tom stays. They're 9-7, 10-6. Skip, Miami went 10-6 and didn't make the playoffs. There's no assurances that if he goes 10-6, he's gonna make the playoffs. So he goes 11. I mean, he went 11-5 with Tampa, and Tampa is way more talented than New England. But Tom was right to get up out of there, Skip. I mean, like I said, when you get to be 21, Skip, what motivates me to get up and come to work? Going 10-6, or having an opportunity to compete for a Super Bowl? To watch that kind of the kind of film study that it takes, Skip. Because for me, wasn't nothing keeping me interested. I'm just trying to watch it feel.
Well, if I could quote a couple of quotes from Tom Brady that I have right here after yesterday's game, this summed it up for me. He said that we have a really unique team. We have great chemistry here in Tampa, and we have fun at practice. You think he ever said that one time?
No fun at Friday.
We have fun in practice. It's now fun. He wanted at least 1 year of fun. They work hard and they play hard during the games, but they also have a good time doing it.
Well, that was the thing, and credit to Mike. Skip, he let us have as much fun, but when he blew the whistle and it was time to practice, now we laughing and joking and making jokes and having fun and doing all that other stuff. But when he blew the whistle, it's time to practice, okay, we're going to have practice. He blow the whistle, it's the end of practice, we back to having fun again.
So
that's
Tom Brady, trust me, during practice, he's the bad cop. Arians is the good cop, but Tom's the bad cop, but he also is having fun doing it, and he knows they're all having a blast because guess what? All that matters is winning, and he's teaching them this is how you sacrifice to win football games.
You read Tom's lip yesterday. They showed on him and they got a penalty. And what the F are we doing?
I know. Any false start, it was by the backup guard.
It's fun and games until you do something wrong, because Tom does not let anything go. But it is fun to win. Shannon, are you enjoying Tom Brady and this success? I always think about you when I watch Tom.
Skip, I ain't gonna lie, Skip. I came in here to gloat today because the Lakers had won the other night. I said, Lakers won. And then I got Aaron Rodgers to win. And then my homeboy and them won. I said, I'm going to come here. I'm going to bring out my best. So I brought my best stuff out here today to gloat, Skip. I can't even lie.
And then
Drew.
And I said,
Drew
that was it?
Skip, I came out here on dress. I said, I'll put me a turtleneck on. I'm come out there and put my new stuff on them.
So will you finally now agree? Will you admit publicly that it was actually 75% Brady and 25% Belichick. Will you agree with that?
No. I'm leading. It's coming down, though.
Down.
He went to Super Bowl. I give him 60-40. I give him 60-40. Brady give 60. Coach Belichick.
Okay, if he wins the Super Bowl, I would like a pair of those shoes as well, Shannon, in my
Those
size.
shoes
Thank
are
you very
75% of your
Thank
game.
you very much. No mercy. Josh Allen has now won 2 straight playoff games, while Baker Mayfield is going home after falling short against the Chiefs. Skip tweeted that he would still take Baker over Josh Allen, and it got people so fired up that he was even trending at one point yesterday. So, Skip, please explain yourself. Why do you believe that?
Yeah, please do.
How about number one? He's just more accurate than Josh Allen. Josh Allen has arguably the second or third best receiver in football. Stephon Diggs was the best player on the field on Saturday night at Buffalo against the Ravens. And Josh Allen has turned his life and game around because when in doubt, he just throws it in the direction of Stephon Diggs. Baker Mayfield lost a guy that a lot of people thought was a top 5 receiver in Odell, who I thought actually hurt Baker's progress, stunted his growth because Baker forced it to Odell way too much. And Baker, over his last 13 games, after Odell unfortunately went down and out for Odell, look what he's done. He's completed 64% of his passes. He's completed 20 touchdown passes to only 3 interceptions. When he threw that one to Honey Badger, and you're right, Honey Badger just tricked him. He slick tricked him. That was only his second interception, his last 369 attempts. He has grown up and grown very careful with the football. He is more of a leader to me than Josh Allen is because he's just electric. He's a lightning rod. He's full of you-know-what and vinegar, as the old expression goes. And I don't always love what he does, but I love the body language, and I think his team thrives on it. His team is lifted and inspired by it. He lifted the Browns to their first playoff game in like 100 years. And what he's doing in a career that's lasted only 3 years, he's played for 4 head coaches and 4 different coordinators. That's outrageously wrong, especially for a young quarterback to overcome. He is finally living up to the hype that he has built with all those commercials, all those Progressives and Hulus and Heisman House commercials, way too many for a third-year quarterback, in my point of view, but he is living up to the target that he drew on his own back because they did have a chance to win yesterday, and I thought he played very well on the road in a big playoff game against a very rested team with a very good, underrated good defense.
You got to win that game, Skip.
Yeah.
Mahomes was out. You got 8 minutes.
He got 2 plays to win the game. He had a second and third down in which the ball was in his hands, and they max blitzed him. And he had to throw the ball away on the first one, and on the second one, he had to hit his check down, and it didn't work. And then last 4 minutes of the game, he never got the ball back.
It's amazing when they're not sitting back and just let you just throw the ball, huh? When they come get you, it's amazing what the pressure does to people, huh?
So you going to pick Josh Allen to win at Kansas City?
Whoa.
No.
Did Baker win in Kansas City?
Well, he came close.
Let me ask you a question. If Mahomes doesn't play, do you believe he can win in Kansas City?
Who? Josh Allen? I don't know. That'd be a toss-up to me. It'd be a close game.
I guarantee you, if they say Patrick Mahomes is doubtful or out, that line, Fox better put that line at Buffalo 4.5 to 7.
Well, you already know. They already said it last night.
What did they say?
They said it'd be like 3 or 4.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
So what was it?
You know what? I wouldn't bet on Buffalo in that case.
I would. Without Homeboy, I gotta take.
Yeah, but if Homeboy does play,
oh yeah, that's a different story.
You know what? I don't think it's even going to be close.
First of all, you don't worry about. I don't even know why you're talking about my homeboy. You worry about the other side. You worry about the NFC. Your team is over there. My team is. I got my team still going.
You mean my home Super Bowl team?
Skip, I don't know how you can watch these 2 guys play and say Baker Mayfield is better than Josh Allen. Josh Allen is more accurate.
He is not more accurate. What are you talking about?
That's what the numbers say. The numbers say that. I'm just going back to the numbers. You like Pro Football Focus, right? You like that. That's the Bible. In sports, that's the Bible, Skip Bayless Bible.
What did we hear for 2 years until Stephon showed up on the doorstep?
Talk about Skip.
Everybody said he's just not accurate
True
enough.
story, y'all. I went to Skip Bayless' house. I walked his house on the coffee table. I see Pro Football Focus notes, and I see the Bible. So Skip Bayless lived by those two things. Now, all of a sudden, he don't like Pro Football Focus because they got Josh Allen as a better QB than Baker Mayfield.
Well, that doesn't mean he's more accurate.
Let's get down what the numbers say. Now, I'm just going with the number. What the numbers say? If I got $500, you got $300. How you got more money than me? The numbers say 500 more than 3.
Yeah, but Baker was playing for a ship of fools in that franchise. Was it not the clown act of the NFL until finally Stefanski started bringing a little bit of class and solidity there? Just a little bit.
Well, how about this here? Last year, did Baker team make the playoffs? Yes or no? Josh Allen team made the playoffs last year.
Okay, because they got an organization in place. They got a smart young head coach in place who's been there for the duration.
Okay. Led the team to the AFC Championship game this year. Did you know that Josh Allen is 28-15 as a starter? Baker Mayfield is 1 game over 500, 23-22?
He's played for terrible teams.
Including the playoffs, only Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers have more wins over the last 2 years than Josh Allen. Hold on. Where's Baker Mayfield? I ain't see Baker Mayfield. Now, if you look at it, Skip, look at his trajectory. From his rookie year to where he is now, his completion percentage is up 16%. So it looks like he's doing this.
What's their playoff record, those two?
They're 1-1.
Both are 1-1.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
but y'all
amazing.
didn't make the
How did Baker get to be 1-1 for the Cleveland Browns?
Whoa. Time out. We came in the league the same time.
Huh.
I made the playoffs my first year. Did you make the playoffs your first, my second year starting? Did you make the playoffs? No, you didn't. I did. Anyway, Skip Bayless, look, I get it. And just imagine if that kid had Chubb and had Kareem Hunt running the ball.
Well, imagine if number 6 had Stephon Diggs.
He got Jarvis Landry, had Odell, had T. Higgins, had People Jones, had Austin Hooper, had Njoku. Well, damn, Skip, how much more you wanted to have?
Who did you just name that's better than Stephon Diggs? Who did you name?
Hold on.
Who's even in the ballpark?
Stephon Diggs had an unbelievable season. But coming into this season, there weren't very many people that had Stephon Diggs ahead of Odell. Now,
that all changed.
Yes, but he did have him last year, right? And my guy went to the playoffs last year when he didn't have Stephon Diggs.
Well, Odell is way overhyped and overrated for what he is.
Oh, now he overrated.
Well, is his heart in it? Is his head in it?
His heart is right in the right place.
Stop it.
What's overrated is your guy, is you thinking that your guy is better than 17.
Who caught the Minnesota Miracle that day? Stephon Diggs.
I guarantee you, if you were to have a redraft of the 2018 draft, I guarantee you 17 would go first. Knowing what you know right now, I guarantee you Josh Allen will be the first overall pick.
So who has played the best over the last 13 games? I promise you, if you look hard at it, it's Baker Mayfield. No. He's ranked higher. Pro Football Focus says Baker Mayfield has played better over the last 13 games than Josh Allen.
You talk what you tell me. Your eyes. What does the eye test tell you?
Did you see the rockets he was throwing yesterday? You know what? I know Josh Allen's got a big arm, but as far as just a sizzle shot arm, throwing lasers, Baker Mayfield throws just absolute lasers.
Did you know that the guy on the right of the screen, number 17, was AFC Player of the Month? Did you know that, Skip? Yeah, that was him.
Okay.
He did that.
I think it should be he and Stephon Diggs.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that.
I've never seen it like it. When in doubt, I'll just throw it kind of over there.
Okay, when Baker, when in doubt, who does he throw it to? Jarvis Landry.
Not true.
Jarvis.
They spread it all over the place. When in doubt, he goes to Hooper a lot, Njoku a lot.
I mean, every time.
Kareem Hunt a lot.
I mean, I had to cut. I was listening to the sound a little bit yesterday. I had to cut it off. I thought it was Iron Man. He kept talking Jarvis. I was like, if he talking to the computer, Jarvis to turn it on?
Nope.
No, that's Jarvis Landry you talking to.
You don't listen to the sound.
I don't. I don't. Skip, but you come on, come on, Skip.
No,
you trolling me.
Seriously, no. I'm taking Baker Mayfield.
We're gonna do a poll. I want you. Hey, I want
stop
Twitter, I want you to tell me.
What?
Who would you rather have, Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen?
You know, I don't care.
No. You put it out there. You throw it out there. You throw it out there.
No, I don't care what they say. I know what I know.
No, you know.
You know what you know.
No mercy.
In honor of Martin Luther King Day, Kurt Menefee and Michael Strahan host an hour-long special that illuminates the efforts of athletes creating change in their communities, highlighted by an appearance by Deion Sanders and also by Bubba Wallace, who sat down for a conversation with Shannon. Looking forward to it. Fox Sports Voices today, 5 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Well, guys, Aaron Rodgers continued his dominant season by passing for nearly 300 yards and 2 touchdowns to go along with 1 on the ground in a 14-point win over the Rams. Green Bay will host the Buccaneers next week after Tom Brady also had 3 total TDs and just under 200 yards through the air in his win. Fox Sports NFL analyst Michael Vick is joining us now. So, Mike, based on what you saw this weekend, what shot do you give Brady to beat Rodgers?
I give him a fair shot, man. Anything is possible with TB12. I mean, just look at the game yesterday. I mean, he was totally in sync, and anything can happen in between the white lines. And the story of the weekend for every team that has played, in this weekend's playoffs and last weekend, it's been about the turnovers. You minimize the mistakes, you minimize the turnovers, and those teams go on to win the game. The teams that make the most mistakes and most turnovers are the teams that are losing. So, anything can happen, but we got the best of the best and Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. We couldn't ask for a better situational scenario. And while I do think Tom Brady will be up for the task, not just him, but the defense, the offense in its entirety, the coaching staff, I think they're just as hot right now as the Green Bay Packers. So, while they can lean on that, Green Bay got to take them very seriously, but you got to know that the veteran Tom Brady is walking into the building, and it's not going to be a pushover by any stretch.
They got a great chance. And you mentioned the turnovers. You look at Buffalo, they won the game, Skip. It was basically that turnover. It was a 101-yard pick six house call because Baltimore defense only gave up 10 points. The difference in the ball game was that pick six. You look at the Tampa New Orleans game. Tampa got 21 points off of those 4 turnovers. So they only scored 9, basically driving the ball, having to drive the ball the length of the field against the Saints defense. If you turn the football over and you're playing one of these great quarterbacks, and I think all these quarterbacks, these are the top quarterbacks, the top 4 quarterbacks I think currently playing in football. You turn the football over, you're going to lose. It's as simple as that. All this other stuff, it's fine and dandy. You turn it over, you're going to lose these games this weekend. And so I'm sure the coaches are going to stress when they convene these teams on Wednesday. They probably have a little light walkthrough today. They're off on Tuesday. Tuesday's normally off day. When they reconvene, they're going to take care of the football. And that's the thing about football, Skip. Football is a sport like no other because in baseball, you got to beat somebody 4 out of 7 for the World Series. Basketball, for the Larry O'Brien, you got to beat some. In football, a bad throw, a pick six, scoop and score, it's over. It's like ain't no tomorrow when ain't no we get them back Tuesday, we coming back Tuesday, Skip. It's over. They have an excellent chance, but the difference is this. Mike, I don't know what you saw, but I'm looking at it, and I would have to look at the tape to make sure I'm right, but I believe I saw a lot of what we call 25. 2 deep, man under, because they saying Drew can't throw this ball outside the numbers, and we're going to take away the middle of the field. We're going to be up close. We're going to be physical. We're going to take away that quick game from him. And they took that away, and you see the ball just fluttering once he had to throw it outside the numbers. The difference is Aaron Rodgers can attack every location on the field, vertically and horizontal. So the question is, like we asked of Ohio State.
Can move.
Yes, he definitely can move. You can't play 25 against him because he'll run. The question that we had against Alabama and Ohio State, Skip, could Ohio State replicate that offensive performance that they put up against Clemson? The question is, can Tampa defense replicate what they did against New Orleans against Green Bay?
No. I got a better question. Can the Tampa defense replicate the performance of October 18th at Tampa Bay? Because that was arguably an even better performance than the one we saw against Drew Brees, what's left of Drew Brees, yesterday at New Orleans. Because I'm going to remind everybody that this defense was most responsible for a final score on October 18th of 38-10 Tampa Bay over Aaron Rodgers. That was his worst game by far of the year. He had a QBR of 12, a scale 0 to 100. Tom Brady had a QBR that day of 97, but he wasn't the story. The story was that Aaron Rodgers jumped up 10-0, and then on a fateful 3rd and 10 play, he tried to throw it to Devontae, and Jamel Dean, of all corners, jumped the route.
Who's since been benched.
I know, but he's back now.
He's back. He's playing the slot now more.
And he took it home.
He did.
And then 3 plays later, it's another 3rd and 3 play, and he tries the other side to Devontae again. And Mike Edwards says, thank you very much. I'm going to make a house call, except he got knocked out of bounds at the 2.
To the residents.
Okay? And from that point forward, would you believe that Aaron Rodgers, as I keep telling Shannon, folded like a lawn chair at a Tampa retirement community? Would you believe that every possession from that point on, they either punted or just ran out of downs? They didn't score another point. They didn't come close to scoring another point. And would you believe that Devontae had 6 catches for a grand total of 61? Would you believe Aaron Jones carried it 10 times for 15 yards that day?
Right.
You don't think that defense is going to go up there with some confidence?
You know what's coming, Skip? The McCrinkleberry. McCrinkleberry coming back out of y'all.
Well, he did it.
Nah, he gonna keep doing
touchdown.
it. He gonna keep doing it.
Well, then he didn't get to do it anymore.
What's gonna happen, Mike?
Rodgers is gonna have extensive film study and watch this game over and over again, so he don't run into the same problems that he ran into when he was in Tampa. And I think for Tampa Bay, can Tampa Bay go on the road? And it could be inclement weather. It could be cold.
It will.
Can they still, get up to for a game like this? Play good football, good defensive football in cold weather, extreme conditions. And if they can do that, then they give themselves a chance. If not, Aaron Rodgers, this is what he wanted. This is what he's been asking for. He got what he wanted. And he got the best of the best. He got the best of the best on the other side, which is going to be a motivational factor for him. But also he got him in his element.
He does. So the other thing that happened that day at Tampa back on October 18th was Tom Brady was sacked 0 times. Can they do that again? Can they keep him that clean? Because if they do, he'll stay in the game, right?
Yes.
Because they can run it, they can control it, right?
Yeah. But I thought Green Bay did a good job of getting after the quarterback with Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith and Clark and Gary.
Yeah.
I thought they did a great job with just their front 4 of getting after Jared Goff.
Obviously, both teams are much better than they were that day.
Yes.
Because Brady has brought this whole franchise to a boil right on schedule, to me. So, look, Green Bay should be favored. What's it going to be, 3 or 4 points?
I think Steve told me last night. He asked me what I thought the line would be. I say 4. He said it opened at 3.5.
Okay, well, I guessed it might be as high as 7 because I think they should be a decided home favorite, obviously. But I think Brady has a great chance of winning the game.
Yeah.
Because think where he is. He's one step away from playing in his 10th Super Bowl and becoming the first team ever to play a home game Super Bowl. How cool is that?
Yeah, you get to sleep in your own. You might get to sleep in your own bed.
Yeah, that's what's so scary about this game. Tom has the experience. He has the wherewithal. He know how to win games like this. He's been there before, and all he got to do is bring the guys with him. That's an easy task. That's just leadership. But as far as experience going into this game, I mean, this is Tom Brady's type of environment. So I think he can thrive and excel.
But here's the thing, though, Mike. How many other guys on that team has played championship games in inclement weather, in cold weather? I'm not worried about Tom. What about the other guys that's catching the ball, that's playing defense? How many cold weather games have they played with all the money on the table?
Well, it's easy to play defense in the cold, I think, and I'm not even a defensive player. I mean, I'm just putting the onus on them to say, look, all you got to do is just fly around and hit. My concern is for the guys on the offensive side of the ball because, I'm going to be honest, we're not as tough as those guys on the defensive side of the ball. I'm just saying, real.
Well, I mean, the Rams, the Rams found out, it's just fly around. Yeah, when you play in a dome and it's 85 degrees all the time and all of a sudden you go to 20, it's a whole different ball game, Mike.
Yeah, Aaron Donald was hurt, though. Aaron Donald was hurt. He couldn't be effective. The rib injuries you can have for any player, any position.
So, final question. Who will have the best defensive player on the field on Sunday?
The Bucs.
Bucs. That guy's an emerging superstar. and he is hot.
I thought he should have made the Pro Bowl this year. I thought he should have been, other than Bobby Wagner, I thought he should have went in over Fred Warner. No disrespect to Fred Warner.
I agree.
But this kid, what this kid did, yeah, he definitely should have been a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah, sideline to sideline, he proved he wasn't the best.
You could tell he was a running back. He was not only a linebacker, he was a running back also in high school.
Yep.
All right, Mike, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much for your time.
No mercy.
Patrick Mahomes was pulled from the game in the third quarter after taking a hit while running for a first down on a 3rd and inches option play yesterday. Mahomes was diagnosed with a concussion and was ruled out for the remainder of the game. Andy Reid talked about the hit after the game. Take a listen.
He got hit in the back of the head and kind of knocked the wind out of him and everything else with it. So we took him out. He's doing great right now, which is a real positive. As we looked at this, passed all the deals that he needed to pass, and so we'll see where it goes from here.
It was hard to watch, just the visual. Shannon, what was your immediate reaction to the play?
Damn, Andy sounded out of breath. He must be ran to the podium, Skip. He was, I'm like, damn, Andy, slow down. You gonna
Well, I think his life flashed before him because he thought he was going to lose his quarterback.
Exactly.
Yeah, high stress.
That's what we would call a gadget play. It's an option. Now, you ran in and scored a touchdown. Normally, you have one gadget where you expose your quarterback. And if you dodge the bullet, they don't get him, you're like, okay, we came out good. We got a touchdown out of the play. We done with that. Skip, he went back to it. On 31, hand it to your running back or just have him do a quarterback sneak straight ahead. Why would you expose him to a situation like that? And people are like, well, pitch it to the back. If you watch 29, he beelines to the back. And now the back is already like 8 yards back, so there ain't no way he getting it because 29 run past Patrick Mahomes, going straight to the back because they fixed it this time. Like, look, we want the middle linebacker. You scrape over the top. You see where the back guy going to take the pitch away, 39?
Yep.
So it's not there. Why would you expose him to a play like that, Skip? Just turn around and hand the ball give the ball to Williams or just quarterback sneak it. Don't expose your quarterback like that. Andy know you don't put your quarterback twice on a gadget play in one game. Nah, you don't do that. And Andy knew he had messed up because you're right. When he's sitting out there, I'm looking at Skip, I'm looking at his eyes right there. I said, oh yeah, it's over.
Yep.
People don't realize it's the side shot and the head shot, Skip. I tackled a guy on an interception, a pick six. Trent threw a pick six against Tennessee.
Trent Dilfer.
I ran, jumped on the guy's back, tackled him in the end zone, and the first thing here, boom, by head. Ear pads go everywhere. Man, I'm head ringing, stars going, but, back there, Skip, you got to go back in the game. Ain't no coming out.
No.
But I'm surprised that Andy called this play after he had already called it once and got away with it. Now, it says Mahomes, I thought he hurt his groin, Skip, because when he threw the pass to Kelsey and he got spun around, I thought he was like limping on his groin, but they say he had a toe injury.
Big toe.
Big toe.
Looked like turf toe.
Right, well, now, if it's an old injury, Skip, maybe they injected it to begin with. Now, the only thing you can do with that is that you put a metal insert in there so the toe doesn't bend. That's all you can do. And so that's why it looks like he's walking with a club foot. But Andy dodged the bullet yesterday.
He did.
Because this thing could have been a lot worse than what...
I agree. So, as you know, I grew up a University of Oklahoma fan. And the greatest year of my Sooner rooting life was that it went from 69 to 70 year when they decided to go to the wishbone. Remember this?
Yep.
Barry Switzer said, I'm going to take that old Texas wishbone that they run meat and potatoes with, and I'm going to put Greg Pruitt at one halfback and Joe Wiley, last of the great white running backs at Oklahoma, at left halfback, and Jack Mildren, who's a great athlete at quarterback, and we are going to rip and pitch, man. and they were putting up huge points. They blew out Texas, I think it was like 48-27 with their own medicine.
Right.
But I started to ask, well, wait a second. Why wouldn't this work? Because it's revolutionary. It took them all the way to that 1971, obviously.
What they call the greatest game ever.
Greatest game ever. I was there on like the 50-yard line. It's the greatest game I ever watched, except my team lost 35-31.
Johnny Rodgers game.
Johnny Rodgers game. I saw him throw up in the end zone after he ran a punt back. The point was, why wouldn't that work in pro football? Well, everybody told me who knew, you'll get the quarterback killed killed.
Yes.
So I just gave it up. I said, we'll never see the option like that because the quarterback has to go down the line and read the defensive end.
Right.
And at the last second, is he going to take you or the pitch man?
Right.
Except now they started the 5 feet out, send the corner after the pitch man. But you're just fair game. You pitch the ball and they blast you right in your face. Well, Andy Reid has mad scientist in him, and he won't give it up. That was more about Andy's ego than his quarterback's health. Why are you doing that? And why wouldn't you apologize after the game? I wanted to hear Andy say, you know, I'm sorry, I put him in harm's way.
Right.
So he didn't play him in the last game of the regular season to let Chad Henne play the whole game because I got to protect him. And then he keeps calling his number because Patrick has athletic ability, but he's so big. He's a little overweight, but it's okay. He needs the padding. But it looks like he weighs 240.
But Skip, he's not elusive like a Lamar
He's
or
not
Kyler
elusive.
Murray.
No. Once he gets going, he can go,
He
man.
can chug, but he don't
have that. He's got a little bit of it occasionally at the goal line. But if you're going to keep asking him to go down the line and read it on 3rd and 1 and pitch it or keep it, what are you doing?
Right.
That's on Andy Reid, and that's mad scientist run amok. That's completely out of bounds. That's on the head coach.
Skip, if you remember when RPOs and everybody was running it, they said, you know what, we don't even care about the dive. We don't even care about the pitch. We want you to punish the quarterback because he's a runner. So if he comes down the line, I want you to punish the quarterback. If you watch the way the Baltimore Ravens did Colin Kaepernick, they didn't care nothing about Frank Gore was getting 10, 15 yards. They didn't care about Cap. Cap, we gonna punish you. So if you want to expose your quarterback, Skip, if you care so little about your quarterback that you're going to run him like he's a running back, why should I treat him anything less than a running back?
Agreed.
That's what happened. That's what happened to Cam, Skip. Remember, they kept running Cam. They're running Cam on quarterback powers and quarterback dives and quarterback ISO. That's your quarterback. Well, we run him like he's a running back, like he's a fullback. Okay, well, we're going to treat him as such.
But those runs are different to me. At least you give Cam a full head of steam and let him choose.
Right.
And if he wants to try to run over the linebacker at the goal line like he did at Atlanta one year, what are you doing? What are you doing? But that's your choice.
And Skip, the thing is, Patrick Mahomes, Skip, that's not his. I mean, Cam has run the option. Lamar Jackson, those guys in college, they're proficient at that. That's not what Pat Mahomes does.
Yeah.
That guy came from so quick inside and got up on Mahomes so quick. He didn't even know what happened.
So Mac
He just
Wilson,
knew he was going to turn the corner, Skip. He's like, I got this one.
Mac Wilson's a second-year linebacker out of Alabama, 5th-round pick, and he comes up and he tries to, it wasn't a violent, vicious hit.
No.
He kind of comes in and tries to sort of wrap him up. And Andy said, well, he got hit in the back of the head. And I didn't think it was that much of a shot to the back of the head. And then he starts to pull him down, and he kind of got him around the throat, but just for a second or so. And it shocked me.
More like side of the head.
Yeah, kind of side of the head. And at first I thought he fell on the football and knocked the breath out of himself that way. But he didn't hit his head on the field. And when he got up and he was that woozy, I was shocked because I didn't see the play as that dangerous.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, it wasn't like the Andy Dalton play at Washington when Bostic just hit him helmet to helmet and knocked him unconscious.
Yeah, but when he did that right there, Skip, I knew he wasn't coming back.
Well, that was the end of that. Okay, but from all I saw in that play and from all I've heard, I believe he'll be just fine to play Sunday.
Yeah.
I would worry right now more about the turf toe than I would about his head condition.
Right.
That's just me.
It's going to be a good. When they played earlier this year, it was 27-16, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Mahomes beat them in Buffalo.
26-17.
26-17, yeah. So it's going to be. I can see another. I think the game probably might get into the high 20s, low 30s for both teams, Skip. Josh Allen is a different animal than when they played earlier.
Yeah, but so is your guy.
Oh, the home run.
Your guy, league of his own. And I don't think Andy Reid would have been as optimistic after the game had Patrick Mahomes not looked okay. It's just hard to see that visually when you see his eyes like that, and you never a good look to see your quarterback go down that way.
No mercy.
The NFL playoffs continue Sunday with the NFC Championship presented by TurboTax Live as Tom Brady and the Buccaneers take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Pre-game coverage starts at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Well, How about that guy, Tom Brady? He threw for 199 yards and 2 touchdowns in the win over the Saints in New Orleans last night. Brady also added a rushing touchdown in the upset over the divisional rival Saints, who beat them, remember, twice during the regular season. It's hard to beat Tom Brady 3 times. So, Shannon, please give Brady a letter grade for me.
Skip, I gave him a B because I thought he was smart enough to understand the situation of the ball game. It wasn't going to require him to throw for 300-plus yards, but it was going to require him to stay out of harm's way. And I thought he did a great job of that. You look at what the numbers, I mean, 1 pass to Mike Evans, 1 pass to Antonio Brown. I think Chris Godwin might have caught 1 or 2 passes. Basically, it was the backs and tight end, Leonard Fournette, Cameron Brate. So he's like, yeah, I'm not going to really put the ball in harm's way, and either my guy's going to catch it or it's going to be incomplete. He had a chance for an interception. The guy didn't get the other foot down. But I thought he did a great job of understanding my defense is playing really, really great. The likelihood of them driving the football field and getting points isn't very good. The last thing I need to do is give this team a short field. So he did that. I gave him a B. He wasn't spectacular. Was this one of Tom Brady's greatest games? No. But mentally, to stay locked in to say, you know what? I know, hey, Leonard Fournette, here, take this. Here, do that. So I gave him a B. Could he play better? Sure. But it was the turnovers that cost him in the first 2 games that he avoided, which helped them to win this game.
Which is why I give Tom Brady for yesterday's performance an A-. Degree of difficulty. This was his worst matchup nightmare, I believe, of his whole career. This team had done things to him in the first 2 games nobody has ever done to Tom Brady, especially in the second game at home, November 8th, that Sunday night game. That was the worst game he's ever played. This team owned him psychologically, physically, couldn't block him. He was under pressure 55% of his throws that night. I
would have given him an A had Drew played better. Had Drew played a little better, maybe threw for 250 yards, I would have given him an A because I said, you know what, Tom had to top Drew. But the only way he had to top Drew was not turn the ball over. Drew threw for 134 yards in a ball game, Skip.
Okay, but have you ever seen a bigger beat-down turnaround than this one? Because, as you kept saying last week, New Orleans just annihilated them, humiliated them, devastated them at home. It was 40 minutes time of possession to only 20 minutes. It looked like Tampa against New Orleans was hapless and hopeless. And they turned all that around, starting with the quarterback, no turnovers, only 1 sack. He got rid of the football. And they scored 30 points on that defense at New Orleans. And again, they had help from the turnover. I got it.
Remember what happened in the second game? Tom Brady turned the ball over, gave them short fields. New Orleans capitalized. It was 38-3. What happened in this game? Drew Brees turned the football over. They got 21 points, and now it's 30-10. So really, they scored 9 points when they actually had to drive the ball against New Orleans defense.
Okay. Again, I'm going A- because Tom Brady had 4 deep throws, no risk it, no biscuit throws that were not dink and dunks, that were just off receivers' fingertips. If we could just see them really quickly here. If we could see Gronkowski, this is the first 3rd and 3 of the game, just off his fingertips. Maybe 10 years ago, he would have caught that.
Maybe 5.
Maybe 5 years ago, he would have caught that. Maybe 2 years ago. And then here we go again. He goes deep to Mike Evans, and guess who? Marshawn Lattimore. That's just too good. The throw is right on the money, but you're trying to hit the deep throw. Then here we go to Chris Godwin, end of half. It's right on the button. I thought Chris, being the top-rated receiver a year ago, you just got to make that catch.
You got to make that.
He just couldn't haul it in and keep it as he somersaulted. And then finally to Gronkowski on a 2nd and goal play. It's right where only Gronk can catch it, and he just couldn't.
Well, Skip, you can't give him A-. Skip, that was incomplete. I mean, if he completes one of those, okay, maybe you give him A-.
But what I'm saying is, if you'd hit one more of those, I might even go A. But the only deep ball he hit, quote unquote, was the throw, they dropped down the chimney to Scotty Miller. That was 29 yards. But other than that, he was flawless on all of his other throws. They are operating at the highest level on offense, and obviously you need some run game because Aaron Rodgers had the best run game he's ever had in a playoff game against the Rams. Who knew that was coming?
And plus, Skip,
Brady was 1 of 6 of throwing the ball 20 yards down the field. As you mentioned, the one completion was a 20-plus yard completion to Scotty Miller. Leonard Fournette led the team in receiving with 5 catches and the touchdown out of the backfield. And so I think the thing is, like I said, and that's what young quarterbacks have to understand. You don't always have to win the game. If the other team wants to lose it, let them. Okay, you want to do that? Okay, sure, go right ahead. I'm not going to fight you.
Okay, but Tom Brady ended up throwing for 199 yards. Those were as hard 199 yards as he's ever thrown for in his career because New Orleans has his number. Across the board, their DBs can lock up with everybody.
Yeah,
Did you see anybody run a wide open?
No.
I mean, obviously it took a trick play for Jameis to throw the one wide open touchdown. I've never seen a more open touchdown.
And that's why I like New Orleans, Skip, because I said they have the type of corners that can match up because they can put hands on people and lock up. But I don't think anybody saw this, Skip. We knew Drew was not the Drew the last 2 or 3 years. But, Skip, I don't think anybody saw 4 turnovers because he's never had that before.
Yep. Here we go.
No mercy.
Well, during Fox's pregame show yesterday, Jay Glazer said he believed Drew Brees would be hanging it up after this season. And after the tough loss, Brees told reporters he would take time to think about things before making any final decision. So, Shannon, if this was in fact his last game, how will you remember his really special career?
How he turned it around. Skip, I was in Denver. I went back my last 2 years in Denver. My last year in Denver he was there, and he was bad.
At San Diego.
At San Diego, Skip. He ended up getting benched for 41-year-old Doug Flutie. I never, ever imagined he would turn out to be this.
I didn't either.
But one fateful injury, he goes to New Orleans, get with Sean Payton, right place, right time, and he has a Hall of Fame career, arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. And what he meant for the community to help rebuild New Orleans after Katrina, he's been great. But I didn't see this in the beginning, Skip. No one saw this.
I did not either. I went to a couple of games he played when I was in Chicago at the Tribune, when he played at Purdue. I couldn't see this. Not a big arm.
Nope.
Undersized. He's a little bit over 6 feet tall. He's a good athlete, but obviously not a great athlete. Overachiever.
Yes.
And he overachieved all the way to currently holding the record for most passing yards ever. Well, how impossible is that?
Right, and it's just a testament to his hard work and his determination.
Yeah.
That what he overcame after that shoulder, because they only gave him a 10%, 20% chance of playing again after that shoulder injury, and he came, like you said, at one point he had the most touchdown passes, he has the most passing yards.
He and Brady, go back and forth.
Most, 300-yard passing games? He's phenomenal.
I always saw him as a great competitor and off the field, a good man.
Yep.
I know he had a slip of the tongue when he talked about the race issue. But still, in the end, I think he did it with class all the way through.
And he got that Super Bowl. He got Super Bowl MVP. And what he meant for the city of New Orleans and what he meant for that state. He's been unbelievable, man.
Unbelievable.
I believe it is his last game, but he has nothing to hold his head down.
If it is, congratulations on a great 20 years.
So well said. Seeing Tom and Drew after the game, it was emotional. Good stuff, guys. Great show today. The Herd is on right now. We're back same time tomorrow, and let's do our best to honor Martin Luther King today. Have a good one.